Hi, I'm Ian. Want to live extraordinarily? It may seem difficult, but with Cebu Landmasters, it's possible. Let me show you. First, they give you hands-on service. From their sales and customer care team prior and during turnover, to their in-house property management team when you've settled in. Plus, their amenities are carefully planned and well-developed, like a clubhouse with pool, a gym, and even a chapel. You can choose from a wide range of developments: residential, offices, mixed use, townships, and even hotels. Everything for the lifestyle you want. With over 50 developments in the best locations, Cebu Landmasters is now the leading local housing developer in key VisMin cities. So you see, you can live extraordinarily when your real estate developer goes to great lengths for you. Live extraordinarily with Cebu Landmasters.
And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone listening to us for this momentous event from all over the world. Welcome everyone to the online launch of Masters Tower Cebu, brought to you by the leading real estate developer in the Visayas and Mindanao, Cebu Landmasters. My name is RJ Ledesma. Very honored to be your host for today's event. And I'm glad once again to witness another milestone for Cebu Landmasters as it unveils today its most iconic architectural structure to date. From the minds of the world's greatest architectural designers, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, Masters Tower Cebu is seen to revolutionize the city's skyline with an iconic design that pays tribute to the Queen City of the South. Indeed, Masters Tower Cebu is a crown built for Cebu. Today, we will also unfold Cebu Landmasters' partnership with a leading international hospitality hotel group offering unique and meaningful experiences over 110 countries, which will bring to Cebu its 5-star luxury hotel brand, making Masters Tower Cebu its home. Now, as we look at 2021 and beyond with so much optimism, here in Cebu Landmasters, we don't just give you things to hope for, but we make hope happen for the tourism sector, the greater Cebuano community, and the country at large. And to all of you joining us here right now virtually, by the comfort of your own homes, the offices, or wherever you may be, welcome once again to the virtual reveal of the Masters Tower Cebu. We invite all of you to please use the following hashtags as you're with us online. The hashtags to use are Masters Tower Cebu and hashtag Sofitel Cebu City. Again, that's hashtag Masters Tower Cebu and hashtag Sofitel Cebu City. And to please tag our official social media pages in Facebook and Instagram at Masters Tower Cebu. Please tag us on your social media posts and give us a shout out on the comments section so we know that you're joining us virtually on this a very significant event in Cebu real estate history. We also encourage all of you to please interact or even drop off your inquiries or questions regarding the Masters Tower Cebu in the Q&A box so our speakers may address them later in the program. So, get us all brimming with excitement on Masters Tower Cebu, and to formally welcome all of us to this event, allow me to introduce to all of you our first speaker. He joined Cebu Landmasters back in 2010 and now serves as its director, executive vice president, and chief operating officer, leading the ground-up operations and project delivery cycle for all CLI projects across Visayas and Mindanao. I am very honored to introduce my good friend, Mr. Jose Franco Soberano.
Good morning, everyone. This is not only a dream come true as a member of the Cebu Landmasters family. This is also a dream come true as a Cebuano. Cebu has grown leaps and bounds, and it continues to emerge as the regional, cultural, educational, and economic powerhouse of the region. For me, as someone who has seen Cebu grow before my very eyes, as someone who has seen our skyline evolve in recent years, it gives me great faith, knowing that this growth will continue. We will not only overcome today's present challenges, we will thrive. And in the words of our CEO, Mr. Joe Soberano, the time to rebound and abound begins now. So, it is with great joy that we unveil an icon that will symbolize Cebu's prominence and fortitude through Masters Tower Cebu. It's inspired by Cebuano creativity, it's inspired by Cebuano ingenuity, and it's inspired by Cebuano solidarity. A crown that will be truly built for the Queen City of the South. Of course, we would not be here today without the support of several individuals. First of all, I'd like to thank the leadership team of Cebu Landmasters, headed by CEO Mr. Joe Soberano, for your vision and for your fortitude. I'd also like to acknowledge the Vasindani family for giving us the opportunity to develop this beautiful property in the heart of our business district. I'd like to thank our hotel partner, Accor, for finally bringing Sofitel to Cebu's wonderful and hospitable shores. Of course, I'd like to thank the minds who embrace our traditions, our culture, to come up with this amazing design. Thank you to the guys at SOM out of New York. Thank you to our amazing local team headed by GF and Partners and our engineering group. I'd also like to thank, of course, the City Government of Cebu, the Province of Cebu, and the Cebu Business Park Association. On behalf of CLI, I'd also like to thank BPI, our funding partner, for your continued trust and confidence. So, without further ado, we'd like to avail not only a structure, but this is really going to symbolize Cebuano solidarity, Cebuano ingenuity, and Cebuano sustainability. Welcome to the unveiling of Masters Tower Cebu.
What a wonderfully inspiring message coming from Franco. Thank you so much for joining us and for that inspiring message. What a way to welcome everyone from around the world to Cebu Masters Tower. Now, Cebu has greatly transformed itself over the years. I've been in and out of Cebu for many years. I was actually there for CLI many years ago, and in those visits, I've seen new buildings emerging every time I go there. But Masters Tower Cebu is no ordinary building, nor is its design just a mere sketch on a pad. How so? I believe our next guests will not only unveil the world-class design of Masters Tower Cebu, but it will also tell us the story behind its design, inspiration, and how this will put Cebu on the map of having one of the world's most iconic towers. It is truly my pleasure to introduce to all of you our two remarkable speakers for today. Our first speaker is one of the integral leaders of SOM, or Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, the world's largest and most influential architectural designers. He has led award-winning large-scale mixed-use projects all over the globe, including the Guoco Tower in Singapore, Otemachi 1 and Nihonbashi 2 in Tokyo, and the NEX Tower in Manila. I'm referring to SOM's Associate Director, Mr. Nicolas Medrano. Joining Nicolas is also SOM's Project Manager. He has extensive design and management experience on various types of international projects. Her recent works include a conservation subdivision in upstate New York, a large-scale mixed-use development in Shenzhen, China, and a biomedical facility in Singapore. To reveal and tell us much, much more about the anticipated and iconic Masters Tower Cebu with Nicolas, I give you SOM's Project Manager, Shilpa Patel.
morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas Medrano, the lead designer of Masters Tower Cebu and a member of Skidmore, Owings and Merrill's New York office.
Hi, and I'm Shilpa Patel, the team's lead project manager.
We are truly delighted and humbled to be here and to witness this incredible moment for Cebu. It was about a year ago today when Cebu Landmasters came to SOM with a very unique proposition. Under the silhouette of the rising super tall buildings in Midtown Manhattan, Franco Soberano challenged us to design a building that embodied the spirit, culture, and passion of the Cebuano people, announcing to the world that Cebu is ready to step onto the global stage. A design that celebrates Cebu's passion for craft, shipbuilding, furniture making, and deep connection to the natural world. A design that fuses hospitality, luxury, and sustainability, not just into a beautiful form, but into a powerful and unforgettable experience, in tune with its environment, and a model for future development in Cebu and around the world.
Memorable architecture of any scale is a product of collaboration and innovation. And over the past year, we engaged in a highly collaborative design process with all of our consultants, including GFP architects and local engineering firms, Accor, Aston Design, and Inspira. As a collective team with diverse expertise and with focus on detail and sensitivity to Cebu's context and climate, our objective was to design a building which celebrates Cebu's uniqueness. SOM is known for its timeless design and notable buildings such as World Trade Center in New York City and Burj Khalifa in Dubai. With this global expertise and over 30 years of experience in the Asia-Pacific region, we are committed to creating architecture and built environments which are not only iconic to its skyline, but are also smart, sustainable, and equitable within the communities that they are situated. And again, we're just so grateful for this opportunity to work with Cebu Landmasters on this important project for the Cebuano community. And we can't wait for all of you to experience this building.
So with that, it is our distinct pleasure to present to you Masters Tower Cebu.
Cebu is one of the most beautiful and culturally inspiring places in all of Asia. Its rich Spanish influence, pristine natural surroundings, and traditions of trade and craft have propelled the Queen City into the spotlight. Cebu is now one of the world's epicenters of creativity and innovation. Located in the Cebu Business Park, Masters Tower is a creation like no other.
The tower will house retail, industry-defining office space, and a 5-star hotel, Sofitel Cebu City. Terrace gardens featuring native flora will rise up the 4 corners of the building, creating a visual stunning exterior, as well as providing a farm-to-table food source for the tower's restaurants.
Visitors to the tower are greeted by a soaring and luxurious entryway, where they will experience the elegant beauty of crafted natural materials, blurring the boundaries between inside and out.
The building form prioritizes energy-efficient design. Woven facade elements provide solar shading while enhancing spectacular views of the ocean and the mountains.
Natural light floods the interior of the hotel atrium, inspired by local shipbuilding traditions.
The top of the tower was designed as a crown for Cebu, a glowing beacon for the Queen City. The SOM team, Cebu Landmasters, and our Filipino partners are extremely excited to be leading the design for Masters Tower Cebu. We are looking forward to bringing life to this new landmark, an awe-inspiring crown built for Cebu.
Again, thank you so much, Nicholas and Shilpa. What an inspiring design for Masters Tower Cebu. I can't wait till it crowns Cebu's skyline. Now, before we move on to those who are tuning in right now, please give us a virtual wave by using the following hashtags in your social media posts. Please use Masters Tower Cebu and Sofitel Cebu City. Again, the hashtags to use are Masters Tower Cebu and Sofitel Cebu City. Once again, we also encourage all of you to interact, type in your inquiries or questions regarding the Masters Tower Cebu on the Q&A box so our speakers can address them later on. Now, this may be a virtual launch, but with that most outstanding and awe-inspiring presentation by SOM of Masters Tower Cebu, I'm sure I could hear some virtual applause and cheers from the audience listening to us from all over the world. What is more amazing to note is that at 192 meters above sea level, it is more than a 50-story building. Imagine what the view of the skyline would be from all the way up there. Definitely magnificent and breathtaking. I bet everyone here right now listening to us and joining us is as excited as I am to see Masters Tower Cebu grow to completion by 2025. But let us not forget though that while Masters Tower Cebu will feature premier office spaces and retail areas, the heart of the building is the first 5-star luxury hotel that is a fusion of thoughtfully modern and elegant design with a French flair, added to the warmth and charm of Cebu. Indulging us with details on this opulent landmark is our next speaker. As the Director of Asset for CLI Premier Hotels Incorporated, he oversees the hotel assets and its operations as he represents CLI's interest vis-a-vis the hotel operators. His tasks include meeting investment goals and increasing the value of CLI Premier Hotels assets and optimizing CLI's recurring income business stemming from the hospitality industry. To talk more about the strategic alliance between CLI Hotels and Accor, and to introduce Accor, who will be bringing in the first ever 5-star luxury hotel to Cebu in 2025. Please welcome CLI Premier Hotels Director of Assets, Mr. Matias Bergenthal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As Director of Hotel Assets of Cebu Landmasters, I'm very proud to expand our hospitality portfolio and bring to life the first Sofitel in the Visayas and Mindanao with Sofitel Cebu City in the iconic Masters Tower. I am aware it might appear surprising to announce a hotel project amidst the pandemic, with low occupancy rates and the hospitality industry suffering globally. But we are very confident that this will change and hospitality will strongly bounce back, especially here in Cebu, which is a top tourist destination and a gateway to the world's best beaches. Also, according to various researchers like Colliers, tourists and travelers will come back, certainly in 3 to 4 years, when our hotel is opening its doors. And CLI aims to be in there, well positioned, strongly during its comeback. Cebu Landmasters believes in the hospitality sector and its enormous potential in the Visayas and Mindanao, which is still a growing market with low international hotel brand penetration and high occupancy rates in Cebu of 80% pre-COVID. Sofitel Cebu City will be our first 5-star hotel in the city and complement our other hotels which we have in the mid-scale segment like Radisson Red, Citadines and Life. Increasing Cebu Landmasters' total hotel portfolio to 8 hotels with over 1,400 rooms. We are glad we can partner with Accor, who is a leading operator in Southeast Asia with an impressive track record in the Philippines with many hotels in operation and also in the pipeline. We choose Sofitel because of its popularity and credibility to provide first-class hospitality all over the world in major cities. Further, the Masters Tower is perfectly located in the center of Cebu City, which will attract a lot of corporate and leisure travelers. We want to give our guests the best luxury experience in the city. We believe that Sofitel Cebu City will elevate the hospitality industry and introduce the French way of living, art de vivre, also with its rich gastronomy and diverse amenity concepts that will pamper our guests. We are very fortunate to work with top architects like SOM and international designers like Aston Design, who developed this masterpiece of a project incorporating French and also local Cebuano elements. So without further ado, I would like to turn over to the CEO of Accor for Southeast Asia, Mr. Garth Simons, who will give more details about Sofitel Cebu City and our partnership with Accor.
Here is a story that you don't usually hear until it's over. At the point it starts, no one can see it. Right at this moment, it's just coming to be. It's not fiction. It's not make-believe. It's a true story, pre-told. You see, some people tell you that's just the way things are. And that's where our story begins. We won't stand for that. We are visionaries. We are reimagining hospitality, and it's not confined by the walls of a hotel. It's a whole new way to live. The way we see it, it's not an evolution, it's a revolution. A leap into the future. So this is a story of tomorrow, our story. Because the future belongs to those who design it. And we're going to bring you there first.
As the CEO of Accor Southeast Asia, Japan and South Korea, it is my pleasure to join you virtually to announce the signing of the Sofitel Cebu City. I wish we could all be together physically, but I look forward to meeting you in person at the launch of this amazing hotel when the pandemic will be behind us and we'll all be travelling freely again. I'm sure, like me, you can't wait for that to be a reality. We are very pleased to announce this project with our valued partners, Cebu Landmasters. And I would like to extend my congratulations to everyone who has been involved in this flagship development. Cebu Landmasters' commitment to a long-term partnership with Accor in these difficult times demonstrates the trust and the confidence they have in our group and the long-term outlook for the tourism industry. While we currently face challenging times, the future of travel is very, very bright, with the Philippines set to grow exponentially as a world-class destination. Before the pandemic hit, the Philippines had one of the fastest growing tourism industries in the region, and we are confident there's a huge potential for the destination with such diverse cultural and natural offerings and some of the friendliest people in the world. Sofitel hotels are all about celebrating the unique French art de vivre with a seamless blend of local French traditions. Every Sofitel around the world offers outstanding experiences centered around living the very best life. This means embracing local culture, showcasing the best in gastronomy combined with traditional French techniques, a focus on the art of well-being and a passion for classic and contemporary design. Sofitel's very first address in Cebu will offer 194 luxurious rooms, 2 restaurants, a lobby bar, executive lounge, rooftop bar. There'll also be a business centre, fitness centre, swimming pool, spa and a collection of meeting rooms and a ballroom to bring the grandest events to life. Accor is firmly committed to further expanding our footprint in the Philippines and to developing tourism infrastructure in one of the world's most beautiful, vibrant destinations. Sofitel Cebu City joins 17 other committed projects in the Philippines, which will see several of Accor's renowned brands arrive in the country for the first time, including Pullman, Pullman Living, M Gallery, Swissôtel, Novotel Living and Ibis Styles. We know that our renowned brands and extensive experience as an international hotel operator will enable us to drive performance, and we look forward to working with our partners to showcase even more of the Philippines with a wider choice of accommodation to attract both locals and international visitors. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting occasion. We can't wait to welcome you to live the French way at Sofitel Cebu City. Until then, take care and stay safe.
Je suis
Thank you so much for the truly impressive presentation, Mr. Simmons, and thank you as well, Mr. Matthias Bergenthal. I can't wait to live the French way when I come over to Sofitel there in Cebu. And so far, the words I'm hearing from the people joining us here today are wow and amazing. Cebu Landmasters is truly revolutionizing not just Cebu's skyline, but is also reinvigorating the country's tourism sector. You're also making history with Sofitel Cebu City, which will be, again, the first 5-star international luxury hotel in Cebu by 2025. Now, before we move on, I'd just like to find out if all of you watching us right now have been paying attention to our last set of speakers. So I'd like to do a little icebreaker. I'll be throwing in 3, maybe 4, even 5 questions in relation to the online launch of Masters Tower Cebu. Now, if you know the answer, kindly type it in at the chat section located on the lower right-hand part of your screen. Again, please type it in on the chat section located on the lower right-hand part of your screen. The first person to give us the correct answer will win an exciting prize courtesy of Cebu Landmasters. And our CLI team will reach out to the winners to give more details on what they will win. Please note that the CLI employees are exempted to participate in this short trivia. Now, are you ready? If you're ready, please give me a thumbs up or a yes comment right now on the chat section. So everybody, are you ready? Okay, thumbs up over there. Okay, that's great, that's great. Many people excited. I'm very happy for that one. We will have a very engaging discussion and trivia for this morning. Let's start off with our first question for today. First question. Masters Tower Cebu's strategic location in the Cebu Business Park makes it a perfect location for business and leisure. Please give me 3 components of this iconic tower. What are the 3 parts that make up this iconic tower? Please start typing in your answers right now in the chat box. Again, 3 components, we showed them earlier on. The 3 components of this Cebu Masters Tower Cebu. One has to do with leisure, one has to do with commercial space, one has to do with work. And waiting for the correct answer. What are the 3 components of this iconic tower? Any guesses popping up? And the correct answer goes to Sinjin Pineda. Congratulations! The 3 components of this iconic tower, Masters Tower Cebu, is hotel, office, and retail. Now, moving on to our second question for this morning's launch. Who is the world-class designer behind this most iconic structure that we have unveiled today? Please spell out the initials. So not just the initials, but what the initials stand for. Again, who is this world-class designer behind the most iconic structure that we are unveiling today? Please spell out the initials. Who are they? They designed the Burj Khalifa in UAE, and they've also designed as well the World Trade Center. Truly, truly impressive world-class architects, bringing their world-class architecture to the Queen City of the South. I'm sure many of you are researching now online on Google to find out what that answer is. But again, who is our world-class architectural designer bringing us this world-class structure in Cebu? Any guesses so far? And I see some answers coming in right now. And the correct answer, congratulations, Jeff Lidon of Filipino Homes. The correct answer is Skidmore, Owings and Merrill is the world-class designer behind Masters Tower Cebu. Moving on to our third question for this morning. What is the complete name of the 5-star luxury international hotel by Accor that will open in Cebu in 2025? The first ever 5-star luxury hotel in Cebu at Masters Tower Cebu. What is that hotel brand. Okay, I'm sure you were all listening very carefully and you saw their great video earlier on. So who or what will be that 5-star luxury international hotel making Cebu their home by 2025? Start keying in your answers right now. I see the answers coming in. The answers are coming in. And I'm going to go back to Miss Malu and Rico to help me with the winners. And the winner is Marco Paulo Diala. Congratulations. The correct answer, of course, is Sofitel Cebu City. I love this. So many people are engaged with our trivia questions, and because you guys are such great, you guys are engaging us here this morning and so interactive, let's throw in a couple of more questions for all of you. Let me move on to our fourth question. The fourth question over here right now is, Masters Tower Cebu is said to be among Cebu's tallest buildings. But the question is, how tall is the building from the ground up? How many meters from the ground up? Okay, let's make it a bit easier for you. How many meters is it above sea level? And if you were listening earlier to my talk and to the other talks earlier by our other speakers, you might know the answer to that question. Again, said to be one of Cebu's tallest buildings. How tall is the building from the ground up? Give you a clue again. It's how many meters above sea level. This will be a 50-story building here in Cebu, but how many meters is it above sea level? Start keying in your answers right now. I see answers are coming up. And the winner is Mark Monta. Mark Monta, congratulations. And because you're such a lovely, lovely audience, we've got one more question for all of you. And if you're paying attention, I'm sure you will get this answer. The last question for our icebreaker trivia is, what is the official tagline for Masters Tower Cebu? Again, what is the official tagline for Masters Tower Cebu? What will be the official tagline of what will be an iconic structure in the Queen City of the South? People rushing to give me the correct answer. And the answer is coming in right now. Thank you to everybody who've been participating here so far. To all those who have won, please remember that you can, our representatives from CLI will get in touch with you to inform you of the prize that you've won. And again, we can't wait to see all of you when they complete the Masters Tower Cebu in 2025. I'd love to stay with you, have a big lunch of an event there in the ballroom of Sofitel Cebu City. And for those of you, when I spoke earlier to Mr. Franco Soberano about this one, we're very excited because, when we studied the States, SOM was one of the architectural companies we looked up to. And we're very excited that we're bringing their brand of world-class architecture here in the Philippines. And the fifth winner here this morning, congratulations goes to Shena Pepito. Again, Shena Pepito, congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you so much for participating. Not only have you proven how you've been paying attention to this online launch for Masters Tower Cebu, but more importantly, you have just demonstrated to all of us the speed of connectivity wherever you are around Cebu or all over the world. Now, earlier, we heard from SOM and Accor, two world-class companies that have shaped both the global architecture and design industry as well as the tourism industry. Now, it is time to hear how Masters Tower Cebu ties into the overall growth and development of the Queen City of the South. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome the Mayor of Cebu City, the Honorable Edgardo Labella.
On behalf of the City Government of Cebu, let me express my congratulations to Cebu Landmasters Incorporated and of course its President, Joe Soberano, considering that this is a Cebuano-based corporation and a catalyst for growth and development and progress of Cebu City. Of course, we also acknowledge the numerous projects that Cebu Landmasters had undertaken and had in fact given so much revenues and job opportunities for our people in the city of Cebu. It is my fervent hope that this launching of the Cebu Master Tower would pave the way for more development, more revenues, and more progress for the city of Cebu. A truly Cebuano-based corporation, and it is my desire also that more Cebuanos from the city of Cebu will be given priority in the hiring of employees and workers in this project and development. So more power to Cebu Landmasters. Congratulations to Joe Soberano and your peers on this another very important milestone in the business industry of the city of Cebu. Of course, I was told that the good Secretary of Tourism is present. I salute and I gave my respect and recognition to Secretary Puyat for attending this important event in Cebu City. Again, Landmasters, Joe Soberano, more power, keep him flying, God bless, and good luck on this project.
And again, thank you so much, Mayor Labella. And I'm sure that Masters Tower Cebu will be contributing to the growth of the economy in Cebu. Now, there is nothing like an iconic structure to raise the quality of real estate projects in Cebu City than Masters Tower Cebu. I am sure that this will not only be a crowning glory for the Queen City of the South, but it will further elevate Cebu City as the creative city for design, as it inspires future architects and designers, and in general, bring more employment opportunities for the Cebuano community. Now, to share a very special message from my good friend, Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat, who unfortunately cannot join us here this morning, please welcome the DOT OIC Undersecretary for Tourism Regulations, Coordination, and Resource Generation. Please welcome Roberto P. Alabado III.
Maayong buntag, Mayor Edgar Labella of Cebu City, Mr. Joe Soberano III, CEO of the Cebu Landmasters, Mr. Garth Simmons, CEO of Accor Southeast Asia, and to our distinguished guests, welcome and good morning. Ever since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, tourism has been the most affected industry that has a large impact on the workers and stakeholders involved in the operations of accommodation establishments, restaurants, travel and tour operations, tour guides, and conventions, just to name a few. As everyone is raring to take action to change the trajectory of the tourism industry, the Department of Tourism since last year launched continuous effort in aiding our tourism stakeholders through different COVID-related activities. Last year, we spearheaded the sweeper flights operations for our stranded tourists. Right now, we are providing cash assistance for our displaced tourism workers through the DOT DOLE program. And we also have provided loan assistance through the DTI for our micro, small, and medium enterprises in the tourism industry, and by continuing to upgrade the skills of our tourism workers through trainings and webinars. And these are just some of the efforts made by the Department of Tourism in partnership with other national government agencies and local government units as well. And of course, very important, private organizations. As we continue to gradually open our tourist destinations to jumpstart the economy, the Department of Tourism always takes into consideration the health and safety of our visitors, tourists, and local communities. With this, the Department of Tourism has issued various health and safety guidelines for our accommodation establishments, restaurants, travel and tour operators, tour guides, and convention centers in making sure that there are protocols in place that would make the visitor experience not just fun, but safe. The gradual recovery of the tourism industry worldwide, as it slowly starts to bounce back under the new normal, is significantly and frequently attached to information technology, cashless and no-touch transactions in booking travel and inquiries, despite travel restrictions everywhere. This will be necessary to facilitate not only compliance with the minimum public and health safety protocols, but for the convenience and fast results. We appreciate the effort and initiative between the Cebu Landmasters Incorporated and Accor in putting their investment in Cebu through its Master Tower Cebu. The planned Sofitel Cebu City will surely attract businesses not just in Cebu, but in the Visayas and the whole Philippines itself. The said initiatives will help sustain optimism in the country's tourism sector amidst the pandemic. This year may be challenging, again, a challenging year for us, but in a different kind. The challenge will be for tourism to be more innovative and resilient as we continue to implement tourism standards that will ensure safety and health for our tourists as they slowly return to their favorite destinations and tourism activities here in Cebu. Together, let us continue to support the tourism industry as we slowly open our destinations and provide livelihoods and jobs for our tourism workers and local communities. From Secretary Bernadette Puyat and your people in the Department of Tourism, we would like to thank you again. Daghan salamat sa inyong tanan. Have a wonderful day. Amping sa tanan.
Again, thank you so much, Secretary Puyat and DOT OIC Undersecretary Alabado for that inspiring message. I'm so sure that you're getting ready to make sure that Cebu tourism is ready to bounce back, especially with the opening of the Sofitel Cebu City in 2025. And our good friends Cebu Landmasters are well positioned for this growth in the economy and the bounce back of our economy as well. Now, as we head towards the end of our program, we can't do this without hearing from the pillar behind Cebu Landmasters. This gentleman is truly a visionary leader from the very beginning. He has been maneuvering CLI to astounding feats since its inception in 2003. He has not only been leading decades worth of expertise in real estate, but more importantly, his wisdom, his heart, and his passion to positively impact cities and communities through masterfully planned and executed developments across the Visayas and Mindanao. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored and privileged to welcome the chairman, the visionary, the president and chief executive officer of Cebu Landmasters Incorporated, Mr. Jose Soberano III.
It pleases me a lot that as CEO of Cebu Landmasters, we have finally launched this remarkable project, the Masters Tower Cebu. Indeed, this is going to be a centerpiece project for us. And to be located here in the heart of Cebu Business Park is quite an honor as well. Such institutions I have been very proud to be part of when we started that project way back in 1990. And can you imagine, it's been 30 years. And now we have unveiled to Cebu these projects which will serve as a major landmark of the city. The Queen City of the South will be proud to have this edifice, which will have a highlight of a crown, which really symbolizes the place of Cebu in the center of development of our country. And we are so glad that as we pursue this project, and we are at the midst of this recovery of the pandemic, we look back at 2020 with a lot of challenges. We did not realize that things would unfold with a lot of difficulty, and yet we were able to surmount it. Cebu Landmasters particularly had to do a lot of adjustments, but I would say that we passed through it with flying colors. And that was the most difficult time I could imagine. And here we are in 2021, hearing about the rollout of the vaccine and hearing also the positive results on countries that have vaccinated a large percentage of their population, that has in a way stabilized the cases, the COVID cases in those particular areas. So definitely, while we in the Philippines await for this rollout and the application of the vaccines to our people, it brings a lot of optimism for us. That is why, in the midst of still having to recover, as what I have coined to be a year, 2021, as a rebound and a bound, we feel very confident. We feel very optimistic about this project. It's laid with tourism, office, and retail in the Masters Tower, which will show the mixed-use character, but at the same time will basically add to what Cebu Landmasters plan to build up in the coming years. I'm referring, of course, to the recurring revenues that will result to this. We've heard it from our Director of Hospitality that we are actually building 8 more hotels. And as we operate only one so far in Citadine Cebu, we are actually building up these 8 more, which will be slated to be completed in 3 to 5 years. And we are very confident that towards that target date, things would have recovered for all of us. The hospitality sector will definitely be going back to how it has contributed to the welfare and the economic growth, not just of Cebu being a center of tourism in the country, but also for the global world, the global impact that it will have. Things will really come back, and we in Cebu Landmasters are confident that we will contribute to that growth of the hospitality sector. So to the members of the team of Cebu Landmasters who have put this together, I'm just so happy and proud of what you have been able to do. I also am very happy for the support of our city, principally our mayor, who spoke very good things about us and on this project, and which I thank him. I would like to also thank the support of the Department of Tourism, headed by Secretary Bernadette Romulo, and also to the participants of this project, from SOM to the Accor group, and even the local planners, in GF partners that will be involved. So there's so much at stake. In a few months, we will be breaking ground, and in 4 years, as a target towards 2024 and 2025, this Masters Tower Cebu will be realized and will be there, adding to the skyline of Cebu as a crown jewel of Cebu Business Park, and that structure which will be having the centerpiece of a crown to showcase the Queen City of Cebu. So I am happy to see the unveiling of this project and how it turned out, and I'm also very happy for all the efforts that we have put into this. So may I therefore conclude with a lot of warm gratitude to all to make this project possible. And we are going to be very glad, along with the members of the team of this project, to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
And again, thank you so much, Mr. Jose Soberano, for that very inspiring, optimistic message for Cebu and for the world. We are very inspired by that one. And we all hope to live extraordinarily there in Cebu and in Masters Tower Cebu. And again, thank you so much to all of our guests and resource persons who are joining us, not just from Cebu, not just from the Philippines, but from all over the world. Again, thank you so much. Nicholas Medrano joining us all the way from California, and Shilpa Patel from SOM joining us from Texas. We also have Garth Simmons from Accor, and we are joined by Matthias Bergenthal of CLI Premier Hotels Incorporated, and of course, Mr. Franco Soberano and Mr. Jose Soberano of Cebu Landmasters. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Very happy that you're here. We've got many questions coming in, flooding our inboxes right now. Very curious, very excited. Very excited. I'm so excited to hear right now. Very excited about the upcoming project of Masters Tower Cebu. So please allow me to get the ball rolling and with the questions. Now, before we wrap up the program, we are right now in the question and answer program. So if any of our guests right now listening to us have questions for any of our distinguished guests, please feel free to address our friends from Cebu Landmasters, from SOM, or from Accor with any of your questions about Masters Tower Cebu. We just like to remind everyone, especially our friends from the press, that there will be no separate press conference after this program is over. So we invite you, the members of the press and other influencers, to please type in your questions, and if applicable, please address your questions to our representatives from CLI, SOM, and Accor. So you can start typing in your questions right now. And I'd like to ask my first question, which came in earlier on before the program even began. And either Sir Franco or Sir Joe can answer this question. Now, the first question, I think it's very, very relevant, is what is the importance of Masters Tower Cebu to Cebu and, of course, to Cebu Landmasters? How do you think this will change how Cebuanos will view and appreciate the skyline of Cebu? Maybe we can start off with Sir Joe.
Thank you, RJ, for that question, and of course for hosting this event. Well, this Masters Tower Cebu started off, of course, by spotting an opportunity, and we in Cebu Landmasters are more than willing to take on a challenge like that. So its importance to Cebu is to serve not just as an iconic landmark, but to its contribution to the welfare of the economy, generally speaking. No, it will add fuel to the very active tourism industry that we have, and it will be there in the heart of Cebu City. We know where all the actions here, not just on the commerce or business, but also in leisure, is there in Cebu Business Park, and we are just going to be at the center of it. So I believe that that will impact a lot to us here in Cebu, not and it will serve very well as well for VisMin. And I'm just so happy to be at the forefront of this along with my team.
Fantastic, Sir Joe. And Franco, I know that we talked earlier on a couple of days ago how excited we were that SOM was actually here to do a project and you know, revitalize and reinvigorate the Cebu skyline. Tell us a bit more of how important this structure that you're building, the Masters Tower Cebu, is going to be. This will be your Burj Khalifa of Cebu. You know, this could be a World Trade Center here in Cebu.
Yes, thank you, RJ. And as you know, when I first was given the marching orders from our CEO about this project, you know, it really was a responsibility. You know, it felt like a very big responsibility with the property of this importance. And you know, as we started the project, we really thought that this would be a source of inspiration, a source of pride. But what makes it really iconic, it's the thoughtfulness of it, right? How does this tower represent Cebu? It's not the height, it's not the facade, it's really the thoughtfulness in how we designed it. So it's very sustainable, it's very green. There are vertical terraces and gardens at the four sides of the building, from the ground all the way up 200 meters high. It's inspired by craftsmanship. Even our family were exporters, you know, back in the day of fashion accessories, of gift items, and Cebu is really very proud of our craftsmanship history. So this is an icon because of its thoughtfulness. It will connect to Cebuanos, not just today, but in future generations.
And I love, Franco, as I was reading the material, how you actually integrate the ecology into the place. You're using indigenous plants to also to accentuate the whole structure. Is that right?
Right. It's one of the exciting interactions we had with SOM and our local team. And interestingly, some of those floors will have farm-to-table plants or vegetables, where we are going to plant some vegetables up there in a very responsible manner, and you know, it can be served in our restaurants. So it's just really amazing, and I give a lot of credit to not just SOM, also our interior designers, Aston, and the amazing team of architects and designers. I think there's a team of 20 different groups that made this possible, and I can't thank them enough.
Fantastic. Really great news to see that CLI is working together with SOM to bring a world-class building and architectural design and icon to Cebu. Now, moving on, there's also the hospitality aspect that we find right now with Masters Tower Cebu. So I'd like to direct this question both to CLI Hotels, which is Matias, and to our good friends from Accor. And, you know, the question has come around. Of course, we're still in the midst of this pandemic, and although we do see that the vaccine is going to be rolled out, hopefully in the near future, you know, things might seem to be a little lethargic right now in the hospitality industry. So what's your overall Philippine hospitality outlook, especially when you start seeing things to recover to pre-pandemic levels and hopefully to higher than pre-pandemic levels? What's your fearless forecast for the Philippine hospitality outlook? Can I start with Matias?
Thank you, Archie. That's a very interesting question, and especially hospitality players would love to know when international travel is coming back. I think with the health and safety protocols in place, and also the vaccine slowly rolling out, I think this is a very gradual process which takes a while. But we are confident that international travel will come back. And I just read yesterday in the article in the news that the Department of Tourism was also hopeful that international tourism can come back this year already to the Philippines. So we are actually very optimistic. Also, when you read a lot of research, what is the consensus? Most researchers forecast that international travel will come back to pre-COVID level at around 2023 to 2024. And I'm convinced. I mean, if you ask now, everybody wants to travel. This is something most people are missing during this pandemic. And we talk about Sofitel opening in 2025. This is quite long term, and we are very optimistic that by then travel will be back and when we open our doors.
So fantastic, just right on time. We're going to have we have Sofitel Cebu City opening up. And how about Garth from Accor? I would love to hear a bit more of a more, I guess, regional perspective with regard to tourism, and also where does Philippines play in that overall tourism industry as we start to recover?
Yeah, listen, I think it's Matthias really touched on something there. I think there's a very, very strong ambition for travel for people. I would imagine everybody in the room, everyone listening, it certainly misses it as well. We just need to get back to a point in time where everyone has a comfort level, and everyone's working. Listen, the world's working on it. It's not just about vaccines. It's actually about testing. It's about safe sanitary environment as well. So there's a lot of work happening in that space. But one thing I know, there's a very, very strong ambition. And you've made a really good point. 2025, I think we'll certainly be there in a very different environment by that sort of stage as well. What that looks like, I think there'll be certain different stages on the way through when we get there. Your other question was about the Philippines. The Philippines was seeing some exponential growth prior to the pandemic, and we see it as a very exciting environment for tourism. I think the numbers are 13% of the country GDP is driven by tourism, and listen, I'm a very big believer in tourism. It's not just about those tourism dollars. It's actually about the person that comes and visits your country, and when they're there for a holiday or for tourism, then they'll come back, and the next time they come back, they'll bring business as well. So it is a lever and leverage that's aspirational for people, that has so many more connections as well. Listen, I want to touch on Franco mentioned about doing a garden in the property on the building. We've got some really good expertise in that sort of space as far as aquaponics, which we're doing through the region, and we do it in our hotels, and we do it won't be so much farm to, but property to plate. We're doing a lot of aquaponics. Drives a lot of vegetables in our hotels as well. So we'd be very excited to do that as well. Listen, while I've got the stage on it, because I might not get the stage again, listen, we're certainly excited to be involved with our partners. And I like the fact that Franco sort of mentioned that Joe gave him his marching orders. I think that was what it was. So I'm looking forward to that. And I can't be happier than to be working with SOM as well. They're certainly involved with the Sofitel City Centre here in Singapore before, and the way that property's come up and what it looks like today, if we could replicate some of that, the art of living the French way would be wonderful in Cebu in the future.
Well, thanks so much, Garth. I'm looking forward to enjoying living the French way over there when I visit Sofitel Cebu City and enjoying the property to plate dishes that we can find at Sofitel Cebu City. Now, moving on, another question coming up, and this is very interesting, and I'd like to address it both to CLI, to our friends, Sir Franco, Sir Joe, please feel free to answer, and to Matias as well. Now, primarily, many of us know that Cebu Landmasters is known for its expertise in residential development. But right now, you're now aggressively expanding into other residential spheres like hospitality and offices. Now, what is the role that the hotels and offices play to the overall strategy of CLI? Maybe Sir Franco, Sir Joe, please feel free to take a crack at the answer.
Well, yeah, let me start it, RJ, to respond to that. Yes, we are basically diversifying. I think that's the first order of where we are, and this is not something new. Also, this hospitality side of our business. In fact, this will be the eighth that we are putting up, the eighth hotel. So we're in the midst of that diversification process. And talking about where we started off in residential, and I'm just so glad that we did that start, because it now elevates us, no, and feel how much more we need to embody that spirit of bringing home and homeliness, no, to people and to the market. That's why as we build hotels, we always are going to be uh, premised. We are going to be doing things as in the best way we could as we deliver homes. And we would like to offer this hospitality to people in our hotels as if they are really there in their homes. They will become not missing it a bit, but in a different environment right here in the middle of Cebu City, as far as this Sofitel Hotel will be. And at the same time, in the Master Cebu Tower, you can combine this leisure living with business, because we do have our offices there, and we expect some of the primest locators, you know, to be there in our Cebu Masters Tower, and of course that mixed use with the retail and the restaurants that we could offer. So all this is part of the of what Cebu Landmasters really is. No, we are diversifying, but looking back at our roots, no, how we started in residential and wanting to make sure that people, even with they are going to enjoy the hotel facilities, are feeling right here in their second home. Uh, and I'm sure Sofitel Hotel will be at the forefront of it, being the first five-star hotel in Cebu City, and in a tower that's like a crowning jewel of Cebu City as well.
Thanks so much, Sir Joe. Franco, would you also like to add to that one as well? I'm sure you're pretty much excited. It's nice to see how they bring in the expertise in residential to the offices and the hotels, and vice versa at the same time.
Definitely.
Franco, would you like to add to that as well?
My boss Joe spoke about it very well, about our diversification, but it's also our confidence when we diversify, because we really understand the Visayas and Mindanao market. RJ, I know you've been here many times. There's so much opportunity here, and you have a very supportive ecosystem. You have very proud and very warm people here in Cebu and Visayas, Mindanao, and meaning the supply is not enough. Meaning you have a growing economy, you have a growing population, you have very good educational base here. So we see it, and that's why we're able to develop mixed use and recurring income projects, not just in Cebu. Also, we're very proud of our township in Davao. I believe our partner is listening in. We're also developing a hotel mixed-use project in Bacolod, coming in Iloilo. So we're just saying that us being the homegrown player here would really feel we'll feel the beat of the local environment, and we know there's still a lot of opportunity even now.
Fantastic, bright future ahead for Cebu Landmasters, not just in Cebu, but across the VisMin region. Just Matias, just wanted to add if you got anything more to add to that one as well, with regard to the expansion of the diversification of CLI into the hotel industry and hospitality industry.
Yeah, as our CEO and Franco already mentioned, we really see like a huge potential in the hospitality market here in the Philippines. Before COVID, international arrivals really increased a lot, like by 10% over the last years, reaching in 2019 it was 8.3 million. If you compare this with Thailand, which you have almost like 40 million tourist arrivals, even Malaysia 25. I think there's really like a lot of potential to arrive at the similar level, or really a higher level. That's why actually we are quite aggressive in building our hotels, because we see really like a huge potential. And also there's actually like a low penetration of international brands, hotel brands in the Philippines, and especially like in the Visayas Mindanao area. And that's the reason why actually we are really partnering with very renowned hotel operators like Accor, where we think we will be very competitive with great brands like Sofitel.
Thanks so much, Matias. And with that, I want to move on to our good friends from SOM. Now, I was actually very excited when Franco shared with me that SOM was coming here, and we know that SOM builds the most iconic buildings in the world. So both to Nicholas and Shilpa, if you don't mind me addressing the question to both of you, what was the creative process that went into the development, really? I mean, I know each of your structures are signature, and really it comes from a great consumer understanding of the area and the culture. Tell us how you came up with the design, really, and worked together with the CLI team to come up with Masters Tower Cebu, Nicholas and Shilpa.
Yeah, RJ, thanks for the question. A really interesting one. You know, iconic buildings are really an embodiment of their place. In this case, Cebu City. These buildings are a statement about their history and future ambitions, and really the values of the people. Iconic buildings throughout history are often tied to motivating and timeless stories. We talked about the World Trade Center, Burj Khalifa. You could talk about the pyramids at Giza or the Empire State Building in New York City. These are buildings that have captured really powerful moments in time. And we think that Cebu City is experiencing one of these moments of transformation, from regional techniques and traditions to becoming an important player on the world stage. And that's evidenced by new infrastructure projects like the Mactan Airport, which have accelerated this transformation and have allowed for intellectual capital to really flow into the country and into Cebu. And so Masters Tower tells the story of this transformation, in essence, becoming a crowning achievement for the Queen City that will hopefully have a positive influence on future generations. And so our inspiration is all of these things as an entire package coming together.
Did you have to fly into Cebu several times? I mean, I'm guessing pre-pandemic to get a good feel of the beat of the people over here?
So we had the chance, fortunately, to fly into Cebu once before the pandemic hit, and we met Franco and his team, the CLI team, and all of our consultants. And so this was very important in making sure that we had a positive energy for the project and a common vision amongst all of the team members. After that, you know, it really became a virtual experience, as we all have learned to do.
Thanks so much. And I'd like to also speak a bit to Shilpa, who's our project manager over here. Because the interesting thing I find is that, you know, Cebu, I come from Luzon, but you know what the Visayas is known for, and particularly Cebu is known for, is the great craftsmanship of the people and how they're very proud of that one. What unique Cebuano aspects did you guys capture that went into the development of Cebu Masters Tower? Shilpa, would you like to add?
Sure. I mean, we did a lot of extensive research into the furniture making and the craftsmanship that's inherent to the Cebuano community, and we did a lot of extensive research into the history of the Cebuano community and the Spanish colonization, and it became really important to look at all these different aspects of the history of where Cebu comes from and where the history of the Cebuano people. And looking at this transformation, as Nick spoke about, in terms of the creative quality and essence of the work that the Cebuano people do. So it really became this sort of timeline of looking at the beginning of how Cebu came to where we are today and creating this crafted object that rises into the sky. And so really it's sort of inanimate object, but it becomes it becomes a living object, allowing for people to experience the building.
Is there something in particular that you like about it? I mean, something that when you were doing the project that really inspired you about the design, or any of the amenities or features that you added to the Masters Tower?
Well, I think what was really inspiring to us was, for instance, like the shipbuilding, which is something that was very unique to the work that the Cebuano people do, in conjunction with the furniture making, and really looking at the structure of how the elements come together, and using it, looking at the smaller scale of the craftsmanship and how you can apply it to a larger scale of a building.
Well, thanks so much, Shilpa. And now moving on again back to our good friend Garth, I'd like to give you a bit more airtime, Garth, if you don't mind. Now, my question really is, like, how do you value right now our Philippine hospitality market, I guess, versus other countries in Asia who are also undergoing the current situation we have here right now? Despite the pandemic, do you have more expansion plans here in the Philippines, or is the pandemic sort of curtailing the plans to expand further in the country? The fact that we're doing this one seems to me that you have a lot of optimism in our growing tourism market.
Yeah, 100%. I think Matthias said it before. I think the Philippines is actually very underdone, actually, and a bit of a hidden gem as far as the tourism industry is concerned, and probably doesn't have enough exposure to the international market. Like I said, prior to the pandemic, it was exponential sort of growth in the Philippines, and we can see that only continuing. I mean, who knows what the population is really in the Philippines, but it's a large domestic market, but also an attractive business and cultural leisure destination as well. So we're super excited about that. We've got expansion plans. We want to make sure that we are looking in the right locations. It's very important for us, right locations, the brands make sense, and that we're working with the right partners as well. Because one of those three, if you miss one of those three, it can derail your plans moving forward. We need to make sure we find the partners that have mutual interests in mind as far as expansion and benefits. So we're super excited about the Philippines, not just Cebu City, but elsewhere as well. We've got a strong pipeline already, and prior to the pandemic, we were very excited about it, and certainly we're super excited moving forward.
And having said that, you said you choose the right set of partners to work with. If you don't mind me asking, what made you decide to work together with the Cebu Landmasters to put up the first 5-star luxury hotel brand for Sofitel in Cebu?
It just made sense. So certainly, a lot of conversation with our developers in that sort of space. A really good look at their history as well and what they've done, the quality of the architect, the understanding of what makes a good, great development, and their local knowledge. So all comes hand in hand. But we do a lot of research on partners before we get involved. So super excited to be involved with Cebu Landmasters.
Thanks so much, Garth. And with that, we go back again to more questions coming in from the viewers here right now. And I'd like to bring this question back to our friends from CLI, to Sir Joe or Sir Franco. No? One of the questions here is, how much did the company invest in the Masters Tower Cebu? And you know what? They're also wondering, on top of that question, is, given the uncertain economic conditions right now, with regard to when the vaccine is coming in, when things will loosen up, you were still optimistic about proceeding with the project. I guess those are always in people's mind, especially right now. So, Sir Franco, Sir Joe, if you'd like to address the question.
Yes, definitely. This is really a commitment that the company is putting up, and of course, at the onset, when we do have a project that's spotted, we have to work out the details, in terms of the concept or even the matter of costing and the funding. So having put that together, ultimately arrives you at that level of commitment, confident that you are coming up with the right product for the market that it will serve. So that's where Cebu Landmasters stands right now, and we just felt that this is a product that has arrived. No, I mean, this is something that Cebu has been waiting for a long time. No, and you could see the growth that we have in this metropolis, and how infrastructure has built up. Okay, the gateway is a sure sign, no, on how we have developed the international airport, and there are so many things going on despite the pandemic, the infrastructure growth, the expressways that will be coming up, the connectivity of the different islands within the country that's being pursued. So it really blends with that kind of infrastructure growth and development, and it's only right for Cebu Landmaster to be right there as well, no? And we're just so glad that we're having this opportunity, and that we're ready to take it on, and we're committed to it, and finally it's here.
Thanks so much, Sergio. Franco, would you also like to add to?
Yeah, sure. As our CEO has said, or my boss has said, we had to really analyze this, assess this, but it was very quick. One of our strengths in Cebu Landmasters is our decision making. It's our closeness as a company, as a family, that allows us to make good and quick decisions. So we are investing close to $100 million for this project, or over 4 billion pesos. And we feel that joyfully investing in our city, in our people, right? And to keep my answer light, RJ, as a real estate play, this corner property is a property we've coveted, or we've always wanted for a long time. And our CEO in his speech has mentioned that he was an employee of the developer of this business park, our big brothers at Ayala. And I was a kid, and 5 years old, 6 years old, biking around this place when it was still being developed. And I've always seen that property. And as other buildings rose up, this property, the Primus, remained undeveloped. So when that opportunity came, thanks to the Basandani family who are coming, who entrusted us with the property, it was an easy decision that the most valuable property should have something to symbolize Cebu, a crowning achievement for the Queen City, and it's represented in the thoughtfulness of the design. So yeah, as a 5-year-old, who knew 30 years after I get the opportunity with our company, with our team, to develop it.
Wow.
So
the property was just waiting for the right developer to come in to create the crowning.
A bit late though. It
Cebu.
took 30 years. So
the property was just waiting, the right time, right place.
Yeah.
For us to start
RJ,
up with the
we showed
property.
some videos aerially. You can see Cebu growing in the background, and the time for this property has come. It's really going to be like a gateway to inspire my generation, the older generation, and the future generation, even my kids. Hope it will inspire them.
We can't wait for the launch where we bring Nicholas, Shilpa, Gareth over here to celebrate the opening.
I know.
Of Sofitel Cebu City.
So a lot of our friends are also connecting in. Of course, our banking partners, BPI, who also made this project possible. And we are very thankful. We'll work very hard to really live up to what this project is.
Thanks so much, Franco. And people are very eager and excited. Actually, Garth, you said you didn't think that there'd be enough airtime for you. Actually, there's another question for you coming up.
Mr. Garth, ask him as many questions as you like.
Because especially for those of us in Manila, we frequent Sofitel here in Manila, and what we enjoy the most is the F&B, the food and beverage in Manila, especially Spiral, which is the great international buffet over there. So they're asking right now, off the top of your head, do you already have one of those very compelling restaurant or F&B concepts that you're thinking of to bring to Sofitel Cebu City?
We 100% we will. We just need to do a bit more work on that for sure. Food and beverage is a really big part of everything we do in our properties in Accor, not just in the Sofitel brand, but the Sofitel brand brings that a real essence of food and beverage and the taste. So it's something we'll be working on for sure. we'll need to make sure that we're working not just international flavors, but local flavor attached to that as well. We're certainly super excited. Franco, I'm going to send you some video and some footage of some of the aquaponics we're doing at some of the hotels here.
Yeah, no, we're excited. It's the sustainability aspect of the project we're happy to feature.
Yeah. No. So food and beverage, 100%, RJ, 100%. It'll be a big part of it because everyone thinks with their stomach. Yeah.
RJ, I just like to give credit to Gart's team. They are the absolute professionals. They have been very hands-on. His team, technical services team, business development team. I salute your team, Garth. They're absolute professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. And having said that, going back again to Sir Franco or to Sir Joe, like you said, you're diversifying the portfolio right now of CLI by using hotels to create recurring income for you guys. So what percentage of revenue do you see the hotel business taking up in the entire portfolio of Cebu Landmasters?
Well, it's a growing percentage, as you can see, but it's really still inching its way because our portfolio is actually led definitely by our residential sales revenues, and that goes not just for house and lot packages or subdivision sales, but also for residential condos. Now, these are basically turnaround income. So the pie gets bigger principally because of that. And then the base of the hospitality, as it wants to expand, will get to be a smaller percentage when you will talk about a growing pie, But definitely, in terms of absolute amount, this will continue to grow. The only thing is that for you to start a hotel project, it has a rather long gestation period, even in terms of completing it, and even in terms of investment recoveries. It's a mid to long term gestating project in that sense. So the contribution will grow in terms of absolute figures, but as a percentage of a pie that keeps on growing because of other significant revenue contributions, it will still have a significant impact in that sense.
Do you have a target percentage of how much of the portfolio of CLI will fall into hospitality and how much will be in residential?
Well, a ratio of about 80-20 would be a good figure to think about. Ultimately, looking at this in the next 5 to 10 years, that should be a good ratio. And both these variables will have to contribute to each other's growth as a pattern.
That's 80%. 80% are residential, RJ. The 20% are recurring income from offices, hotels, retail projects. That's one of the marching orders again from our board and our executive committee.
Thanks so much for the clarification.
More airtime for my friends at SOM, RJ.
Yeah, we're good.
Give them some tough questions.
No, but going back to before I go back to our friends from SOM, just one more question from our good friend Doris Dumlao from the Inquirer to CLI again. Doris would like to know what is CLI's percent economic interest in the project. We know that you have a partner in the land, So more or less, what is, I guess, the sharing for the land and the developer, and how many square meters do you have right now, feasible office and retail space when this is fully constructed?
Oh, thank you very much for that question, Doris, my very good friend. I hope you're all safe there in Manila. Yes, this partnership with Basanhani family is something we really treasure and value. I hope my good friend, Mr. Basanhani, Vijay, is viewing us right now. So our arrangement is really more of as a landowner tenant. No, it's a lease arrangement that we have, and we managed to agree that this will be as long as possible. And I'm just glad that we are not even going uh, to be to be around. No? Both both are the founders, myself and Mr. Bazanhani. It will go beyond our lifetime. This partnership now, and we're looking at the second, the third, and hopefully the fourth generations to still be there. No, so that's the kind of arrangement and commitment we had, because it was very difficult for him to let go of this property, because as enterprising as a gentleman and as a businessman that Mr. Basadhani is, he was really planning to come up with his own project, and for him to see the value of us being there and making sure that we will end up with a product that he ultimately and the family will be proud of. We're just so happy. So in terms of mix as well, to a large percentage, it will be this Tower Cebu. The major contributor will be, of course, the hospitality side. No, I would say, maybe Franco can correct me if this will be at least 70% of the revenue. But these are all going to be all those businesses that we list out, even the office spaces, the retail, and also the restaurant spaces. In fact, one thing I'm looking forward also, because Mr. Masanhani is also operates also an Indian restaurant. So there will be a very nice Indian restaurant outlet right there in the ground floor that will be showcasing the diversity of this particular tower.
Well, thanks so much, Sir Franco. And Sir Joe, Sir Franco naman, maybe you'd also like to add as well, in terms of the square meters, what will be occupied by office, what will be occupied by retail, and what will be occupied by hotel?
Yeah, so it's more of a 2/3, 1/3. 2/3 is the hospitality, 1/3 is the office, and a portion of retail. So it's 20,000 square meters leasable for the hotel portion, around 10,000 for the office. But all top specifications. For the first time, we're doing an office with 4.5 meters floor to floor. I know you know what that is, RJ. It's just really SOM driving a high quality design, 4.5 meters high. And our hotel floors are 3.6 meters high. That's how we achieve the height, right? By really just giving Cebu all the best specifications, and so that's it, RJ. So gave the breakdowns: 2/3 hotel, 1/3 office, and with retail on the ground.
And having said that, going back to SOM with their world-class design that they're bringing over to Cebu, really just two questions. First of all, if you can share a bit more, I know that I had the chance to go through the presentation, and there's specific items on what makes the structure unique to Cebu, what you've done to bring the outside inside in terms of the design. If you can share a bit more about that one. But more than that, given this pandemic situation, did you have to make any adjustments to the buildings as well, to the structure, to accommodate what we experience in the new normal, especially with health and safety protocols that are involved? Nicholas.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Absolutely. Maybe I'll address the second first, is that, this will be one of the first post-pandemic hotel designs to hit the market. And we certainly considered materials that are bacteria-free, that don't accumulate virus, touchless technology for the elevators, recirculation of the air, appropriate filters for the office space and the hotel. And really the atrium space actually helps circulate a volume of air to create a very healthy interior environment. The other important thing you mentioned, bringing nature in, is that it's really about reconnecting with the natural environment, with what Cebu used to be. And so as you're sitting in your hotel room or falling asleep and looking out the window, one will have a very strong connection to the greenery right outside your space. And potentially that greenery will turn into your dinner plate later that night or later in the week. So there's this very visceral connection that we tried to create with the user of the space and the building itself.
Thanks so much. Shilpa, would you also like to add to, as you're going through the creative process, you're the project manager, I guess you've been working with this with Franco hands-on. What else are you discovering that's going to be making this space truly unique for Cebu?
I think when we initially looked at the location of the building in Cebu Business Park, and as a hotel and tourist destination, one of the differences we saw was, or the unique things that we saw from the typical tourist destinations, which were more waterfront, was this particular building would have mountain views and water views. And so we really wanted to enhance this dichotomy and allowing for those views at different levels in the building, whether they're from the interior or from the exterior terraces, and also as this connection between the interior and the exterior as you move from the ground level into the building. And so, as you can see from some of our renderings, what we tried to do was to bring, in terms of materiality, this idea of natural materials into the building, and even greenery and landscape. So it really enhances this idea of this connection to nature, which we found through our research is such an important thing for the Cebuano community, because they are so connected to nature, and it also goes back to the idea of craftsmanship, where all the craft is also inspired by the nature that the Cebuano community has access to.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Nicholas and Shilpa. We can't wait to see the final product crowning the Cebu skyline very soon, and all enjoying a great property to plate dish with all of you. Now, having said that, moving back again to, I hope you don't mind, I go to Matias here. Like we said, we're going to actually be growing the hotel portfolio of Cebu Landmasters across the VisMin area. Do you have, is the Sofitel just one across a number of hotels or hotel brands that you're bringing into the VisMin area? And where do you see moving forward that you'll be putting up future developments of hotels under the CLI banner? Matias?
Yeah. So for now, we have actually Citadines Cebu, which is operational. This is our first hotel, which is operational, which we opened in 2019. And together with this, we have like 7 other hotels currently now in construction or in the planning process, including our Sofitel. So this makes like, if we look like in the next 4 or 5 years, we will increase our room inventory to 1,400 rooms by 2025. So we still have projects which we will announcing soon, but we really see potential in growing cities like Cebu, but also of course other areas like growing tourism destination like Bohol or Siargao or even Boracay, which is already like where there are already a lot of hotels. Especially like in the VisMin area, there are a lot of interesting and exciting places.
Thanks so much, Matias, for that one. I'm excited to check out the future hotels that are in the pipeline for Cebu Landmasters. And we're down to our last 2 questions. And the first question I'd like to address, again, back to both Franco and to Sir Joe. Looking again at the entire CLI portfolio, I'm sure that this was a year both of challenges and opportunities for us, 2020, 2021. And it's going to be challenging, but there are also opportunities which have been emerging as well. So where do you see you taking CLI in the next couple of years in terms of residential? What are the other opportunities still out there that you're seeing that are emerging? And what are the challenges also by the same token?
Well, Cebu Landmasters will continue to bank on our strength, no? And then identifying opportunities in this effort to diversify. That's why we will continue to go to uh, our existing market here in VisMin, which we have a very strong familiarity. We have proven that. So, but we do feel that the the demand is still underserved as far as housing and both the vertical and horizontal are concerned. And we in Cebu Masters will continue to be there. No, while it's going to be more difficult around this time to go to new cities, no, second-tiered city, because of the condition. What we'd like to do for 2021 is to consolidate where we are. No, in the 15 key cities that we already have ongoing projects. We would like to expand from that base, and we see a lot more potential, and we continue to grow with the land bank that we already have, and we also know that we are into township development. We look at that reclamation project in Milanilla with a lot of interest. We have gone through the approval process from the different government or governmental requirements, and we see a lot of exciting promise there. We will have the Davao Township ongoing, and start building up more projects there, like the retail, the civic center, and the condo. So all these are anchored on the recovery that is going to happen. No, the 2020 triggered a lot of anxiety among all business fronts. No, but it's really up to how we handle the situation. We were happy to note that 2021, in fact, I mean 2020 last year became even our biggest year in terms of getting reservation sales for our home or residential products. So we continue to be very bullish there. And we would like to blend that trust with uh, the hospitality business, because that is the strength that is so inherently here in Cebu, here in VisMin. No? We, as a country which has not really uh, we have not basically scratched the surface in terms of the potential that we have as far as tourism is concerned, and travel. Matthias mentioned about 8.3 million tourists that came over in 2019. Wow, that's nothing compared to our neighboring ASEAN counterparts. But look at what we have around us, the richness of and the beauty of our natural resources, and so much things to show, and principally the people around, the Filipino hospitality and all that. That's something we need to showcase globally. In the same way that we in the country, our brother Filipinos, are the ones sacrificing out there, no, our OFW. Now, that's why we're the most in demand in this pandemic. Our nurses, our frontliners, the doctors are the one who are risking it out there, because who we are, Filipinos wanting to reach out, wanting to help out. And this is what we would like to do right here in our own backyard, as we have expounded that hospitality, the kind of good care that we bring abroad and to our fellow global brothers and sisters. We're gonna do it right here, and that's continue to be boosted. And Cebu Landmasters will be there, no, definitely. And this project, in the midst of the pandemic that we have, is a proof of how committed Cebu Landmasters is.
Thank you so much, Sir Joe, for reinvigorating our confidence, not only in Cebu, but in the country for real estate. And of course, there's still large underserved sector over here. Thank you so much for Cebu Landmasters for addressing our growing housing backlog here in the Philippines. Franco, would you also like to add to that one? Where do you see Cebu Landmasters moving? We see a really great residential opportunity for Cebu Landmasters to help the VisMin area.
Yeah, first of all, RJ, just wanted to add that this project is a 100% owned CLI project on a long-term lease that will pass many generations. So that's why we just really have been doing things the way we were doing at the start. Our CEO being very hands-on, myself being hands-on, equipping our big growing family team to be very personalized, very thoughtful, very Cebuano in our dealing. So whether it's a affordable housing, a high-end condo, or a beautiful 5-star luxury hotel, it should have that values. It should have that family touch. And I've seen it with us because I would turn over affordable houses, be there when I see homeowners receive their keys. And I've seen hotels now that we've completed and being very proud, but also being very critical, right? Making sure it's neat, making sure the food tastes great, making sure the experience is what our guests should deserve. And I think it's that Cebu Landmasters quality of really making sure we give the best. That is applied not in all product lines, RJ. And I think I was on a talk with you and Boss Ton before during the height of the pandemic, and we reported that there was a surge in our residential sales, because I hope people notice that we really care when we develop, and we do our very best, and we continue doing that, RJ, in the next few years, and even as we grow bigger, that values of doing that way will remain. So I hope I captured it. This is how I talk with our CEO, over coffee, over whiskey, and it's great to have good mentors like Boss Joe in our company, of course.
And like you said, from affordable housing to high-end condos to luxury hotels, you make sure that the Filipinos and the Cebuanos live extraordinarily.
Exactly. You got it. Yeah. You got it, RJ.
And just to cap off our Q&A here right now, Franco, when is going to be the groundbreaking for a Masters Tower Cebu?
Yes, so we're hopefully breaking ground by the second quarter, hopefully in May. Right now we're going through the bidding process, getting the best contractors and Filipino teams to do the project. We'll definitely have a ceremony, live ceremony, RJ, and it's unbelievable how technology is bringing us all together. I'm so amazed. So thank you to the production team. In New York, it's probably 12 midnight. Garth is, I think, in Singapore. So it's amazing how technology will bring us together, but there's nothing like experiencing it firsthand or being there, right? So please look forward to that in May or June for our groundbreaking.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Franco Soberano. Thank you again to all of our esteemed guests who joined us for this question and answer portion. Again, thank you to our friends joining us from the States, Nicholas Medrano and Shilpa Patel from SOM. Of course, Garth Simmons, all the way from Singapore for Accor. Matthias Bergenthal of CLI Premier Hotels. And of course, Mr. Franco Soberano and Mr. Jose Soberano. Thank you to all of you. And for all those who sent in your questions, thank you as well. If you've got more comments, suggestions, or you just like to wish them well, please use our official hashtags on your social media posts. The hashtags to use are Masters Tower Cebu and Sofitel Cebu City. Please tag our official social media pages in Facebook and Instagram at Masters Tower Cebu. And with that, we officially wrap up today's online launch for the Masters Tower Cebu, a truly world-class development by Cebu Landmasters Incorporated. The Queen City of the South is worthy of a crown, and thanks to Masters Tower Cebu, it has earned its spot as having one of the world's most iconic structures. With Sofitel Cebu City opening in 2025, the heart of this masterpiece will come alive. Masters Tower Cebu will indeed be a crown built just for Cebu. Again, my name is RJ Ledesma. It was a joy and a privilege to bring you this thrilling news this iconic Masters Tower Cebu and the Sofitel Cebu City Hotel that we can all look forward to visiting in 2025. I hope to see all of you here in Cebu for this great launch. Let's keep looking out for one another. And as our friends at CLI always say, live extraordinarily. Have a pleasant day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.